Greetings! Happy new days, beloved, and welcome to the best days of your life. I hope that you are feeling as amazing as you are. I hope you feel your light, your magic. I hope you feel your abundance, your prosperity, your sound mind, your understanding, your good health. I hope that you're feeling marvelous. Happy new day to you. Yes, it's a new day. We are feeling amazing, right? And even if we're not feeling amazing, we are finding more ways to be free. Okay. And that kind of segues into what we're talking about today. We are discussing calling upon your spirit guides. Yes. And why this is so important. Firstly, some of our darkest moments are spent alone, so some of those times that were really traumatic, really triggering, that brought us to, some aspects of hell, we endured them alone, right? And so when I say we endured them alone, typically what happens is when you're going through those really tough moments, the people that you would like to be there, they just don't make it there, right? Is sometimes it just don't happen like that, and you go through these really dark moments alone. And sometimes we go through these dark moments alone because we don't trust others, right, with the journey or with that experience. We don't believe that they would have our best interests at in mind, or it could be that we just don't trust them, right? They mouths are like leaking faucets, right? That could be a possibility too. So for myself, I always found that those really tough spots I had to endure alone. So I thought, right? And it's like you may not have the physical support you need at times. You always have access to your spiritual army, your spiritual protection, right? Your guidance, your security. You always have access to that, no matter what, no matter where you are, how you got there, right? Because some of our pain and suffering is self-inflicted, right? We have allowed ourselves to be in troubled relationships, troubled situations. Okay. And so when you find yourself in that moment, it can really feel like you're there alone. But if you ask your spirit guides to show up, they will, right? You just have to call upon their name. I need you. How can you help me? Sometimes it could be just that you need to release, right? Know that you have spirits around you who are ready to serve you. They want to serve you, right? And so know that you always have access to that, no matter what. And that's what we're talking today. We're talking about calling upon your spirit guides, okay? And firstly, this requires for you to release control, right? And we're releasing control because too many times we want for the narrative that we have created to be just that, right? Like, how can this job not be working out for me? This is a good job, or I tried so hard to get here. Well, some things are meant for you for a season, and then some things you have to release and you have to let go, right? So you can move on, advance, elevate, and allow for new spaces and new opportunities and new people to be able to come in, okay? So we're calling upon our spirit guides, right? We're calling upon our spirit guides for protection, right? Constant security, right? Thank you so much, Most High, for always providing security, for always providing protection, okay? And when we are calling upon our spirit guides, it don't necessarily have to always be like a life in death situation. It could be literally that you just want to have a conversation. You want to release some pain or experience, right? You just want to release it, allow it to flow and go. Okay. So sometimes you want to call upon a listening ear, right? And I like to call upon my grandmother. So that's something dear and personal to me. I'm always like, okay, Grandma Ruth, I'm calling you, right? Please come talk to me. I need you, right? And so what we do know is even when you don't know your spirit guide's name, it's okay because they know your spirit and you know their spirit. So connect with that and have that as the main understanding that your spirit guides literally know your spirit. They know you. They're with you. Call upon them. Ask them for their advice, right? Ask them for their guidance, okay? And know that your spirit guides are always speaking to you, but you have to trust, right? You have to trust in yourself to know, right? And so these instances can be very subtle. You never heard people like, oh, I had a gut feeling. I bet you did, you know? So it's just like elements like that. It can be very settled. Or people like, oh my God, that happened at this time. Or when something happened and it's on your numbers, right? It might be your life numbers, your angel numbers, whatever numbers resonate in your life, right? The numbers that you use to manifest and meditate. It could be those numbers, right? And you can see them show up at a certain time, right? There's times where it's like I might have been at a restaurant and I was in deep thought about something. And then the lady says, oh, your number is 333. I'm like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I take it, I'm like, wow. But it aligned with the thought that I was having. Like she didn't understand. She had no clue what up, you know. But I was like, oh, that's perfect, right? I remember when I had seen my son's school ID number. It's 5 numbers and it ended in 333. These are the numbers that I know that I work with, right? So it could just be anything along that line. And for me, in alignment with my son, it was like, okay, I had done a lot of work to get him at this particular school. I wanted him to be at this school. And I was like, okay, I just want to, was this the right choice? Is this really what I wanted to do? And it was so beautiful when I seen his ID. I'm like, oh, yes, that is exactly where you're supposed to be, right? It resonated with me. It was my spirit guides communicating with me. Yeah, Queen, you're good. This is a good move. It works. I'm like, okay, perfect. So your spirit guides are talking to you, speaking to you in very subtle ways. You know, I know you have heard people tell like really beautiful stories of just yearning for someone, wanting someone that may have passed away, and then all of a sudden they feel someone holding them. They can literally feel someone's arms wrapped around them. I have had that feeling of feeling like I needed a hug so bad and no one was there to provide one. But then all of a sudden having that warm, chilling spirit take over you and feeling the warmth of a hug, right? Our spirit guides are communicating with us. It can be very subtle, right? It can be very subtle. It can be you're having a bad day and then you pull up to the window to grab your breakfast and the lady says, oh, the car in front, you paid for it for you today. Like, oh wow, thank you, right? So it can come in very subtle ways. Sometimes we don't notice it because we're just dealing with real events, right? Life can be really busy and our mind can be focused on other entities and we don't see those little subtle ways we're being spoken to, okay? So know that these things, you know, the way your spirit guides talk to you can be in such a subtle way that you miss it if you're not getting quiet sometimes. That's why it is important. Meditation is always going to be super important because you need to get quiet with you, hear your inner voice, begin to build and reconnect with the inner spirit, which helps you connect better to your spirit guides, right? So you need to be connected to your inner spirit to better connect with your spirit guides. You know, build a deep spiritual relationship with yourself. If you need an altar to do that, do an altar. If you need to, and meditation, for me, that's just, it's daily. It's a practice that I have to be a part of. Like, I need that deep breath, okay? Like, I have to have it. I have to release. There's certain things that are embedded into how I feed myself spiritually. So feed yourself spiritually, because this is going to help you be able to really connect with your spirit guides. So for me, feeding myself spiritually is definitely on a chemical level. I pay attention to what I'm taking in. There are going to be days where it's like, okay, we're not eating any of this today. It's all fruits and vegetables, and we're going to be on a fruit fast. And, I have to find ways in order to constantly feed my spiritual self, okay? Which helps me connect with my spirit guides and help me to hear so clearly, like to get messages like, whew, so clearly, okay? And so, and we already know we get options. Sometimes I hear my spirit guides and still do what the hell I want to, right? So you get the choice. We can hear our spirit guides and still maneuver how we want to, right? It's not like you held captive. So just know that building that relationship with your spirit guides is something that takes time. It's a practice that requires for you to really have a deep sense of self-love and appreciation for the ideal of spirit, right? And knowing that we are so much more than the physical vessel, okay? So connecting with our spirit guides, we are releasing control, right? Allowing ourselves to experience, right? And releasing the need to shame ourselves, okay? Releasing the need for us to be extremely hard on ourselves, okay? We're releasing that, okay? And so we're connecting with spirit, reconnecting with spirit. Some elements of ego is going to have to be released too, right? Because what I find is we go through this tug of war of telling ourselves that we don't need to meditate or that we don't feel anything. I think that's the answer I get the most. I don't feel anything. You've meditated like 3 times. You have to practice it. You have to practice it. You haven't even experienced the climaxes that you can experience in meditation. Into this is something that you have practiced well over for a month, well over. Some people, they might have an experience where they have a meditation that takes them off into the sky, and then they don't experience that no more. Well, you have to continue to meditate, nobody says like, oh, I have a couple of brown spots on my teeth, so I just won't be brushing them anymore. It's not working. No, you continue the process, okay? So call upon your spirit guides. Know that they are there for you and they want to do the work. They want to assist you. They want to help you. They want to love up on you. And they love when you call them. I know my ancestors be like, what you say? They be like, they love it. They love it. They love it. They like, oh, you need us? Okay. So they're ready to serve you, and know that they're really ready to serve you. And don't be afraid to build a relationship with them. I know sometimes, I was telling my friend, I was like, sometimes you got to feel a little bit crazy in your spiritual world. And that's because imagination have been ripped from us, spiritual practices have been ripped from us. So the ideal of having a deep spiritual connection with yourself is so foreign now. So yeah, you might appear a little crazy to my sister. I'm her crazy sister, right? So it sometimes it feels that way. Okay. And another thing, reconnect with your inner child, and that looks different for everybody. Find something that challenges you, that feels really good, that helps you reconnect with just being a little individual, right? And so for mine, I always say mine is skating. I love skating. That is where I find the little child in me, and it's still challenging, right? So it's challenging, but it still helps me to reconnect with that inner child. I don't journal. And if you don't like writing, vlog. But you gotta start talking to you, start building a deep connection with yourself. You know, like I literally, if it helps, if you have to, because many times that's what we do. If you have to relate it to feel being a little crazy, do that, right? Talk to you, answer back, right? Yeah, have a build a relationship with yourself, a real deep relationship with yourself. Use sound healing. I find sound healing to be really helpful. Even with just like calming down. Like if you find that you're easily irritated and aggravated by people, by situations, because I definitely understand. I definitely understand. It's easy to be irritated with the world and individuals in the world. So yeah, using sound healing, using frequency sounds to relax you, to calm you is very essential. You can find them on YouTube, going to sleep with them. It's really cool. I have some on mine as well, using affirmations, affirmational sounds. Feed yourself something healthy to hear. Most of the things that we're listening to are so negative. So fill yourself with healthy things to hear. Use the sunset. Yes, use the sunset, use the sun. When you are looking for ways to reconnect with your spirit, sit with the sun, sit in the sun, sit in the grass, get grounded, have yourself a picnic, treat yourself to something special, treat yourself to a nice, healthy meal. So be kind to you. All this helps you to reconnect with your own inner spirit. What helps you reconnect with your spirit guides. But know that your spirit guides are always there. They're always speaking with you. Most of the time we're ignoring them. Yeah, we're ignoring them. I know I just wasn't listening. I could hear. I still sometimes do what I want. So you know how that goes. We really have to be obedient. Yes, be obedient. Enjoy your beautiful days, loved one.